Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Buffalo SportsCenter video. I am Don, and today we are going to talk about how the Sabres did not have any problems without Alex Tuch, who has been placed on injured reserve, unfortunately, and will be out for a minimum of 2 weeks. We all saw the bad news yesterday morning before the Sabres took on the Washington Capitals, and we saw that not only was Tuch injured, but also our star defenseman Rasmus Dahlin was also injured. Both of those players were out for a big game against Washington, and I could tell that most of Sabres fans on Twitter had a collective groan and moan, and were like, oh no, we're going to lose this game. Well, that didn't exactly happen. No, the Sabres actually won in style, scoring 7 goals in the Goat-Head jerseys and winning an overall dominant game over the Washington Capitals, a fellow wild-card contender. This was a huge 2-point swing once again for the Buffalo Sabres. They moved up to 66 points this season. They've increased their chances of making the postseason as well. But the bad news continues to linger in the back of Sabres fans' brains because Tuch won't be back again for another long stretch of games. This was only one game, folks. The Sabres won 7-4 over an aging Washington Capitals team, but they did much better than we expected. In years prior, without two of our top performers, the Sabres' depth would just kill the team. They would limp out to probably a 3-1, 4-1 loss over a team that has dominated them over the last decade or so. That didn't happen, which I think points to how improved the Sabres' depth options are right now, where you have Dylan Cozens scoring his first ever hat-trick in his career, and Jack Quinn, who since the All-Star break has been very strong. But yesterday, Jack Quinn had 2 points, 2 assists, and overall was perfect on that first line. He filled in for Tuch. The lines were also scattered a bit, with Quinn moving up to the first line along with Tage Thompson and Jeff Skinner. Victor Olofsson moved up to Dylan Cozens' line, along with Casey Middlestad there as well. And overall, they just were very, very solid. Now, let's see how the Sabres continue to do. They have a tough stretch coming up, actually, for the entirety of the rest of the season. It's going to be tough for this team to get wins. They have the hardest strength of schedule for any remaining wild card contending team in the Eastern Conference, which is unfortunate, but if this is truly a playoff team, then they're going to have to beat other playoff teams. But let's quickly talk about Jack Quinn real quick, who, like I mentioned, has been very, very strong for the Sabres since returning from the All-Star break. He's got 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists, and 6 points in 8 games played, and his defensive game has also improved to a +6, which like I always say when I mention this statistic, it is not the most perfect indicator of a player that is good or bad on defense. It is a relative marker. But where Quinn is succeeding, his fellow rookie counterpart J.J. Peterka has not, although he has looked improved. It's just that he, in my opinion, has a Dylan Cozens syndrome for the first 2 seasons of Cozens' career, where he shoots a lot, but it doesn't really seem, the puck doesn't really want to go into the back of the net, so he's having a tough time with his current goal drought. But Jack Quinn has looked fantastic. He had a phenomenal pass. He was going over to his right, passed across his left as he entered the Washington zone, found Dylan Cozens, who got his second of the game, and made it 6-2 Sabres, and that was absolutely fantastic. I'd love to see these guys continue to do more of this stuff. But like I mentioned, things don't get more easy for this team. They face the Columbus Blue Jackets, but after that, you don't see on the little thing at the bottom of my screen here, but we have to face the Bruins, Tampa, Edmonton, who can score just as many goals as Buffalo, the Islanders, the Stars, the Rangers, the Maple Leafs, Capitals, and then finally the Flyers in a couple of weeks from now. But maybe out of all of those teams on that list, I would say only maybe 2 of them were not playoff teams, and that were the Blue Jackets and the Philadelphia Flyers. But everyone else right now are in the mix for the playoffs. This is going to be a real big test for the Sabres because they don't have Alex Tuch. They will have Rasmus Dahlin back as he is only day-to-day, but Losing Tuch is huge. Now, we'll see what Kevyn Adams does before the trade deadline. It is this Friday, March 3rd at 3 p.m. We know that the Sabres are in on talks for plenty of other players. It sounded like Kevyn Adams was looking at a couple of defenseman options, and like Nick Jensen from the Washington Capitals and Jacob Chikrin over in Arizona. But with Tuch gone, maybe he starts to look at some forwards. But no Tuch, no problem for the Sabres. They looked just fine without him. Let's hope this depth scoring continues for the team as they barrel towards what will be the most important final quarter of the season this franchise has seen in over 10 years. Anyways, thank you so much, folks, for watching. I was Don. This is Buffalo SportsCenter. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. So, peace out.